This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. Indigenous people are converging with environmental groups in San Francisco this week at a gathering where leaders are discussing climate policy. Christina Onnested reports.
Indigenous leaders and climate justice activists are calling on governors around the world who are gathering at the Global Climate Action Summit to transition from fossil fuel developments to renewables. They're also demanding policymakers abandon cap-and-trade policies they say allow polluters to damage one environment in exchange for another. Indigenous activists say the air is not a commodity to be brokered. Here's an organizer of the action.
Cap-and-trade, carbon marketing, carbon trading, carbon taxing is not a solution that will help our climate. Selling our air is not okay.
While many governments have adopted cap-and-trade policies, critics say they just shield corporate polluters instead of providing real environmental protections against climate change. Christina Onnested, National Native News, California.
The National Congress of American Indians objects to the Interior Department's decision that it cannot hold land into trust for the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe in Massachusetts. Tribes across the country and Native organizations closely waited for the outcome, concerned about impacts on tribal land policy. NCAI says the decision restricts sovereignty and is a failure of trust responsibility. On Friday, the Interior Department reversed a 2015 land into trust approval for the tribe, citing it does not qualify due to a lack of federal jurisdiction in the 1930s. Opponents of the tribe's plan to build a casino challenged the trust land. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians in North Carolina is preparing for Hurricane Florence. On Monday, President Trump approved an emergency declaration for states and tribes, including the Eastern Band and the Catawba Indian Nation in South Carolina. The National Weather Service alerts the hurricane is likely to hit southeast coast later this week. Attorneys for the Rosebud Sioux Tribe and the Fort Belknap Indian community challenging the Trump administration's permit for the Keystone XL Pipeline say the State Department violated laws and regulations. Victoria Wicks has more.
The South Dakota and Montana tribes are suing Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and now retired Undersecretary for Political Affairs Thomas Shannon Jr. The tribes say the Trump administration overturned the Obama administration's denial of the pipeline without establishing a new record of facts supporting the opposite conclusion. Natalie Landreth is an attorney with the Native American Rights Fund. She says this lawsuit overlaps two others filed in Montana against Keystone XL when it comes to administrative procedures, but she says this suit specifically addresses the land and treaty rights that tribes have tried to bring to the attention of the State Department.
The decision about where the pipeline would go or how it would be constructed was made first, and then later some lip service paid to the tribes, but no real consultation with the tribes ever occurred.
The complaint points out that the pipeline will cross two sources of water for the Mini-Wauchoni rural water system that serves the Rosebud Reservation. The suit also alleges that the State Department has not analyzed the impact of inadequate leak detection practices, the potential hazards to tribal members from oil spills, and the effects on the environment and historical sites and artifacts. The proposed KXL pipeline does not cross current reservation land, but comes close to Rosebud and runs through a Montana county adjacent to the Fort Belknap Reservation, as well as crossing ancestral lands in both states. The State Department will now have 60 days to file a response. I'm Victoria Wicks in Rapid City, South Dakota.
And I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced at the Annenberg National Native Voice Studios by Kawanak Broadcast Corporation. Funding is by Odawi Law Group, provider of Indian law solutions, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, with support from the Public Radio Satellite System.
For Native Americans affected by domestic violence, the Strong Hearts Native Helpline offers peer-to-peer support and resources. It's safe, confidential, and toll-free at 844-7-NATIVE. Program support by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. Supported by Volunteers of America, a premier substance use treatment provider offering a White Bison certified Wellbriety program within their residential Native American treatment services. Applications and more at voanr.org.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.